Okay, so this lesson, and maybe the next one, depending on how long it goes, is going to be about completing the template for the appendix file. And to do that, I want you to go out and grab some of the output that we did in SPSS. We had some issues on the previous assignment with exporting images, and so I think part of that was virtual lab related. So I'm going to show you how to do it in the virtual lab. As you see, I've already kind of engaged my Cisco VPN. I've got my H drive, and once I logged into my H drive, I got my HMarQ, which is my ID and my files. And so when I go in there, I'll have this class, and I have project 4. And in project 4, I've got my data file, I've got my output file, and I've got an appendix template that we're going to complete. So let me close that out. Let me go to my remote login, and so it's already done. This is my virtual lab environment, and on the virtual lab environment, I've got my H drive. H drive has got the same things that I had in the previous one. So I've got project 4. I'm going to just simply pull up my output file. That's my SPSS output file. It's in a slightly different format, so it's going to balk at it, but it's okay. I'm going to tell me not to show it in the future, but it does anyway. So I've got my output file. I'm going to minimize that, and I'm going to minimize the data file. The other thing that I want is my appendix. So I'm going to open that Word document, and I'm going to minimize that too. And then I'm just going to click out all this stuff. I'll save that at the very end. But for right now, I just want this output and this appendix. Okay, so let me go up here, and I'll do the first one. All right, so the first thing here, we've got assumption 1, we've got assumption 2. We've got, I'm going to show you how to do this in a bit. We've got assumption 2 is where I had you copy that, copy and paste this table from your project 3. Multicollinearity, we can do that with the correlation table that you did in project 3, so just copy and paste that one here. But we want to do a series of ones related to the mean value of the error term. This is found in the output file following the coefficients, and so I'm going to open this just a little bit wider. So the coefficients are here. This is the, let me go up to the very top to make sure I have the right model specification. Okay, so this is my first model. This one, so if I go here, this is my first party ID model. And following that, I've got the residual statistics. And so that's the one I want to copy and paste into Word. I'm going to right-click this thing, and then I'm going to do Copy Special. Now, in here you have a bunch of different options. You have plain text, rich text, and whatever else. Within this particular virtual environment, the one that will allow you to do it is the meta files, which is an EMF file or Word file. I usually do them in JPEG and PNG files, but it doesn't really do it that quickly. But we can do Word and EMF, and so that's fine. This is perfect for what we need to do. Click OK. And so what that did is it took that residual table, right? Actually, did I do the wrong one? It took the residual table and put it out there on my clipboard. Let me look at my clipboard. And I'm just going to go to the place where I want to put it, and I'm going to click Paste. And residual statistics come in. For the partisan model, those are my statistics. Mean values are 0 and 0. Okay, so after that, I'm just going to go up here and delete that. And for the next one, I'm just going to do the same thing. Go out and copy and paste it in. And so I'll do that for the other 2 models, and that'll complete that section. You'll up here explain, you'll put your content in, answering the assumption, but then the underlying information will be there. So it's a real quick and dirty way to do it. Residual correlation with the independent variables. Here I need to include the correlation table that is in this one. So let me show you where that is. After the residuals, I ran a histogram. and I did one correlation table. This is the difference between the party ID and the standardized residuals. It's the residual value for difference between, shows you that they're completely separated. So this should be 0. I'm going to right click, copy special. I'm going to get rid of all of these again. I'm just going to use the meta file. It's going to click. Down here it's going to say number 2 of 24 clipboard items. Okay. Then I'm going to go back to my Word file. I'm going to delete this. Highlight that, delete it, and then I'm going to paste the second one in. So we've got that one now. All right. And you'll do the same exact thing for the unidimensional and multidimensional model. Okay. Assumption 6, homoscedasticity. We want to actually use the scatter plot that we had in this assignment. And so these scatter plots are not real pretty, but they'll suffice for what we need to do. I'm going to, again, right-click, copy special. I'm going to get rid of plain text, rich text, and Excel format. I'm going to use my Meta World EMF files. Down here it's going to say click item 3 of 24 is collected. I'm going to go back to my appendix file, the partisan model. I'm going to highlight that, delete it. Actually, I'm going to just simply delete that. I'm going to paste the other one in. And so it's going to get a scatter plot like that. All right. Now, say that I don't like the size of that scatter plot, and I don't like the size of that scatter plot. It's just way too big, takes up way too much space. So what I'm going to do is just right-click it, and then I'm going to minimize it down to about, actually what I'll probably do here, just do 2.5, and it'll change it, and then that'll look fine. All right, so give us just a quick scatter plot diagram, and it'll work out fine. All right, let's do autocorrelations and temporal stability. That one doesn't apply to us at all, but on assumption 8, we do the histograms. Let me go find the histogram for us. Let me minimize this. The histogram is located right above it. So let me right-click this one. Copy special. Get rid of this one, this one, this one. Click meta file. Click OK. Down here it's going to say item 4 collected. Then I'm going to click back up on my Word file. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to simply right-click and paste. See out here in this clipboard. If I want to get rid of that, I get rid of it there. If I want to show what's on the clipboard, I just click that thing and it brings it down. Okay. Again, this thing's way too big. Let's just get rid of that, make that 2.5. Yeah, and it'll shrink it down to a nice size. 2.5. Okay. Click another one there and go. And then the conclusion on regression assumptions, we'll just write these in. So, all right, so for the first party model, what I did is I copied and put onto the clipboard. I put 4 different things. And so let's just page through real quickly and show you what I did. Those were already in here, so we didn't need to do anything except fill them. I did export this residual statistics. These two should be 0. So the residual should mean 0. The residual value here, the standard and the residual here should both be 0. Predicted value doesn't matter. In terms of the next one, correlations. After we do our regression, the correlation between our independent variable and the standardized residual should be 0. That is 0 right there, so we're good. You need to export the other 2 ones for the other 2 models. Looking at the measures or the scatter plots, if this was when you do a dichotomous, a one variable dichotomous one, it doesn't give you kind of a scatter plot, it gives you these 2 lines. And if it was homoscedastic, you would have even distribution of these across those lines. We don't. We have some clumping here and we have some clumping here, and that's what the scatter plot's going to show you. And so that's just kind of indications that we have some heteroscedasticity. You're going to export those other two plots for the unidimensional and multidimensional and do those there. The last part here is the histogram, right? This is for normality of the residuals, and so we got a lot of clumping, a lot of kurtosis here, so we don't exactly meet this one either. It gets better once you go to continuous variables. A one variable dichotomous model is just really hard to get anything stable, but it's what we have to work with. Okay, so go through, do the rest of them. After you've done this and you've got this file in a really good format, what you do is you go up and just save it. File, save as, and it should bring you back. We've got it in as appendix. Just do 0001, and it'll save it to your H drive. Okay, you close that out, and you can close the other one out. But on my H drive, when I go to project 4, I'll now have that version 1, so I can drag that baby right out to my desktop and start working with it. Okay, so if I pull this up, I don't have to work with the virtual lab, so my results get a little bit smoother. It's easier to work with. But here I've got my residual statistics, I've got my correlations, I've got my scatter plot that's small now, and I've got my histogram that's small now, and you're going to put the rest of those in there. Okay, that's what we need to do for this assignment. And so that should get you through the export process.